Okay, awesome. So welcome to the January Move Experts webinar. I'm super excited to talk to you guys today about the beginning of the semester and hope everybody had a wonderful winter break. Welcome back. Woo. So today, basically, we just sent out a bunch of lovely new chapter resources. So I want to go through them with you guys so that hopefully you can share them with your chapter, executive board, and your chapter members just to see what resources are out there that can hopefully, one, help you guys delegate, because I know a lot of people have been having some issues with delegation. So hopefully having them listed out in a way that's by executive board member, hopefully that will help you be like, okay, well, this is the vice president's job because it says so. And hopefully you guys kind of pinpoint who should do what and whose responsibility should do what, because that we can't do it alone. And then throughout the whole process, I'll kind of talk about some recommendations that I have for this semester and going into next year. So can I actually have everybody put themselves on mute? And then if you have a question at any point, just take your, I'm going to share my screen in a minute, so I won't be able to see if you like raise your hand or anything, so just take yourself off. Hit me up. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's do this. Start screen share.
6:25.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi.
Cool. Just put your, everybody put your thingy, what do you think, thingy on mic, or on mute, is what I meant. Perfect. Okay, sorry. Can everybody see my screen, okay? Yes. Yes, okay, great. Okay, so the very first thing that I want to show you is the map of all of the chapter resources. So I sent this out in an email. So if there's any point where you think, oh man, like I wonder if Move and Exchange has this, but I don't really know where to go look for it, this is your go-to bad boy for finding out if we have it or not. So the way that they're broken down is that there's resources for all chapters. So this is a shared folder that is shared between all of your Gmail accounts. And so I'll go through this one second, but then each of you have your own folder that has different resources that are broken down into your executive board members. And I'm not gonna go through, well, I will go through all of this, but not here. But if you're like, man, I really don't know what, you know, the chapter calendar means, then this is where you go and be like, oh, okay, so it's a calendar for the 2018 spring semester. Makes sense. Whatever. If you need a description of it, it's there. And so I'm gonna go over here. And as you can see, this is my master file of everyone's chapter resources. So as you can see, every chapter has their own. So I'm gonna just go to Barnard's to show you guys. And yeah, so as you can see, we have 6 different executive board positions that it's broken down to. And I know not everybody has these specifically, or maybe you don't have all of them, or maybe you even have more of them. And so what you can do is, like, say you, instead of a marketing director, you have a social media chair. You can go ahead and change the name of this to social media chair if that's something that you really, really feel like you need, if it makes more sense for your chapter. These things are kind of for you. And so I'll kind of be able to see how you guys are structuring your chapters a little bit, to see if maybe if everybody has a secretary, then maybe I'll add that into everyone's, or something like that. But these are the kind of the ones that we recommend in terms of what's necessary and what we think is best. Any questions so far? All good? No? Okay, cool. Great. So let's start with the president. So in each one of, oops, I went back too far. In each one of these, you're going to find a list of roles and responsibilities and a contract for each person. So under the roles and responsibilities for the president, you guys can also feel free to, maybe your president does more than this, maybe your president does less than this, but definitely feel free to add a couple of things if you feel like you need to, subtract a couple of things. We want this to be something that helps you, not kind of strongholds you into maybe something that isn't working for your chapter specifically. But this is kind of our broad idea of maybe what a president should do. And so what we've found for some of our chapters is it's helpful to have a contract. Throughout all of these documents, wherever you see something highlighted in yellow, that usually means that it's something that you have to change because nobody goes to X university. So make sure that anytime you guys see that, you change it and fix it up specifically for your university. And so one of the reasons that we recommend getting something like this template contract signed is because it makes sure that whoever the president, whoever the executive board member is, whoever they are, it makes sure that they understand what's being expected of them, right? So as the president, I'm the one, if I'm the president, I should be the one who's completely contacting with the Movement Exchange team and making sure that everybody is kind of up to date with that. So this can kind of help be like a precursor to the start of the semester, the start of a year, to say, okay, here's what each person needs to do. All good so far? Yes? Great, okay. Good. So I think this is one of the newest additions to the chapter resources. And so this is the chapter calendar for the spring semester. So as you can see, it's broken down into months: January, February, March, April, and May. And so what it shows you is that for each month, you have a monthly theme. So a lot of you guys know these monthly themes from the monthly updates that I send out, the chapter or the Facebook banners or the post on Instagram. So a lot of you guys have seen kind of what those monthly themes are. And maybe you incorporate these a little bit more into your chapter meetings or just overall discussion between your chapter members. So each month has the theme listed there. And then maybe what's your chapter focus? So this is these chapter focuses are helpful for us and hopefully helpful for you. So for January, because one of our big efforts this year is to try expanding the National MoveEx network, so I know I sent out an email to all of you guys and all the chapter members that we are looking for some people to do a university visit to a nearby school. And if any of you guys are interested, especially if maybe you haven't started school yet, I think most people have or are starting soon. But if there's a university that's super, super close to you that you're interested in visiting, let me know, because we will pay for your gas up to, I think, 100 miles and lunch for 2 people, as well as printing and any other expenses that might go along with that. And then if you aren't able to do that, another goal is to collect 100 emails and inspire someone to start a new MoveEx chapter. So maybe at your first or second general body meeting, try to get some contacts for starting a new MoveEx chapter. And then we always have a general body meeting goal. And so it'll usually say kind of who's responsible for it. So for January's case, it would be the vice president. And so their goal is to collect 2 contacts from every chapter member of individuals from other universities who might want to join Movement Exchange. And so what you can see is actually that under the vice president, you'll see Number 4 is referral contacts. So we already have kind of a template for you guys where you can write the member name, the contact name, whoever might be interested in Move and Exchange, their email address, and their university. So we already have kind of this set up for you guys if it's something that you're able to do at one of your very first general body meetings. And then, of course, for every month, we have a calendar kind of listed out of due dates. So January 1st, we didn't have actually a January, February report or a January monthly report, but every month you will have those. The social media director should replace the Facebook banner photo and post on Instagram. And then the webinar is dead. So thank you guys for joining. And so it's kind of geared towards presidents and vice presidents. And all of this, I'll be reminding you of it each month. But if you're ever like, oh, I don't really know what we're supposed to do this month, then this is your go-to. And you can take a look through it and see what might be in store for you for the rest of the school year. All good? Any questions coming up? No. Cool, cool, cool. Great. So let me go back to the president folder. Okay, so next up is the International Dance Exchange to Panama timeline. So for many of you guys, you're either maybe doing your first international dance exchange, or maybe you're seasoned and know kind of how it runs. But basically, at least 3 months before the exchange, we need a 10 participant minimum. So that's 10 participants is the minimum. So as long as you guys get that, then you are good to go on your own exchange. I think a lot of people this year are opting for the joint exchanges, which are super fun, a great way to kind of connect with different university members and see what else is going on in the MoveEx world. And then the $500 deposit can be submitted 2 ways, either on PayPal, which I always send you guys the link, or on your online fundraising page. So Empowered, if some of you, I think most people have used it before, but that's our fundraising platform. And so if you send me the names and emails of people who want those fundraising pages set up, then I can go ahead and create that account for them. Then 2 months before your flight itineraries are due, make sure you send it to us before booking. If you are a joint exchange, this can get a little tricky sometimes. We have 1 airport pickup. And so usually what we recommend is getting flights within a certain time block. And we'll usually let you know what that is a couple months before. It kind of depends on where people are flying from. But generally, it's in kind of the late afternoon around 3 to 5. Then the 1 month before is when kind of the doozy hits and everything is due. So it's the final $890, again, on PayPal or on the online fundraising page. And I keep track of all of this stuff. So if a member is like, man, I really don't know how much I need to owe, I'll usually email what everybody needs to submit, or you can always feel free to shoot me an email. Then submit the dance diplomat information. So this is new this year. I think Butler, you guys probably saw it. But we are doing forms this year. So it used to be like an Excel sheet that presidents filled out, but this time we're doing a form. So you have to send that form to all individuals, and that's just to make sure that we're getting all of the information we need from all of the participants. And then of course we have a liability waiver. And then most importantly is that pre-departure call where we go over the itinerary and answer any of your questions. So I know we've got a pretty busy spring and summer coming up. So I kind of just wanted to review this timeline. I think I've sent everybody information on this, like when these things are due. But just to kind of give you guys an overview of what's expected for your upcoming exchanges to Panama, yeah. That's how it goes mostly. Does anybody have any questions about exchange stuff?
I have a question, Adele.
Yeah.
Because UCI applies for our funding through our school to get money, and then last year they had a new thing where they had to get information, or like how we got our I'm trying to say this because a lot of our part of the deposit that we use is for the plane tickets, but since it's through a donation, they don't count it as being able to be used for our funding. So is there another way we can pay for the deposit?
Wait, I'm not sure I understand. So you get a grant or scholarship?
Yeah, because we apply for the grants and then they need evidence of how we use the money. But since we pay for the donation we pay for the program and it shows as a donation, they don't accept that because it shows as like a donation and not as like using it for research. So is there another way we can pay it so it doesn't have that donation word?
So we could probably be able to send you guys like a breakdown of how the money is used. I would try to see like if it's like a donation to Movement Exchange isn't acceptable in any way, no matter if we're showing like where the money is going, then we'll have to talk about that to see if there's another solution. I'm sure we can figure something out, but yeah, keep me updated on that.
Yeah. Because I think they're pretty picky. Because even when we sent them our airplane tickets and we gave them like the itinerary, they didn't accept it because it wasn't like a receipt. It didn't have the word receipt in it. So I don't know. I mean, I'll email you separately.
Okay, because I'm sure we could probably like send you receipts when you get like housing or for food or something like that to feed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. That's always fun. I know universities sometimes have some weird stipulations and all that fun stuff on fundraising and scholarships. So if there's anything like that that ever comes up, just let me know. I know for some universities, like they have to send a check directly to Movement Exchange, and that's totally fine as long as it's like a big check for everyone. What we want to kind of avoid is like sending $10 checks here and there because it gets a little confusing on our end. But if it's like one big check from like if your whole chapter gets a grant or something or a scholarship and you can send it to us, that's totally fine, something like that. Or if there is like a scholarship or grant that you're applying to that has some really specific stipulations, then definitely contact me about that and we'll see what we can do. Awesome. Any other questions? No? Okie dokie, we keep going. All right. Okay, so next one's exchange commitment contract. So I don't know if this is something that you guys would want to use. It was the idea of LMU, Loyola Marymount University. So they were like, man, like it's really hard to get people to commit and I don't want it to be a super last minute thing. So she came up with a contract where you say, okay, I'm aware that 3 months before the exchange start date, whatever, these things are due on these dates. And so what she actually had people do is submit a $50 kind of deposit to the chapter to be like, all right, here's my $50, and my contract, I'm going on this exchange. So if you feel like people are being flaky and really want a firm commitment, maybe try having them give, a $50 or $100 deposit first to you so that you can see how many people are definitely interested in going. $500 is sometimes a lot to put down initially. So if you want to take it in smaller increments, and if your chapter decides that maybe 5 months before the exchange, you know, they submit a $100 deposit, then just let me know and we can work something out for sure. Yeah, so if you're interested in having some sort of like agreement so everybody's aware of exchange deadlines, then this is a good option as well. Sample constitution. So all of you guys are, I think all of you guys are registered student organizations. Yes. But if you ever need to get re-recognized, or if you know a friend who wants to start a chapter, here's a sample constitution. Executive board application template. X all these out. Cool. So, oh, oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry. Executive board application template. I think these were actually developed from UCI, I think. But we recommend, well, if you are thinking about doing applications for your executive board, like it says at the top, we recommend creating this executive board application on a Google form. And for anybody who might not know, you just click New, More, Google Forms, and then it creates a Google form, and you can kind of decide what questions get put where and what type of questions you want to include. So I've listed the questions here. This is kind of a description, and all the questions are here, and it's just an example. So if there's something that you want to use for your executive board applications, then that is there for you guys to use. Just know that you would have to create your own form, or if you just want to send it in like a Word document or something like that, you can feel free to do it however you'd like. One thing that I would like to point out is that I know a lot of you guys are going through some leadership changes. A lot of you guys are graduating. And so I would definitely recommend holding your executive board applications and what are those called? Yeah, executive board elections, re-elections sooner rather than later, so that you have time to kind of plan accordingly and make sure that everyone is ready for the semester, feels comfortable, just to make sure that everybody's kind of on track for next semester. And you can use this semester, this spring semester, as kind of like a training ground to be like, all right, you know, this president just got reelected, but the old president and the new president are kind of going to work together to make sure that everybody's kind of caught up and feels like they know what's going on, so that if the president is leaving, then next year they're all good to go. So just my recommendation. And as soon as you have those executive board members picked out, I need their name, their position, and their email. So as soon as you have that information, just send it my way so that I have it for next year. Let's see. Last but not least, or almost, chapter apparel guidelines. So this is kind of just information that's on the website. But if you're thinking about doing a t-shirt or another kind of product, you can see all of the color palette and other info here. And if you have any questions, just feel free to shoot me an email and I'll approve anything that you need. Okay. Done with president, success. The VP, of course, we have our roles and responsibilities and our contract template, like I discussed before. Then there's a point system. So this was developed by UT Austin. Hey. So this is just a little, if you are interested in creating like a point system so that you can keep track of fundraisers or who is really participating. Here's kind of an example of how you can keep track of all of that information. And then, of course, there's a member attendance and point system template. And there's just an example that I put at the top. Miss Jane, her email is whatever. And so you can put say there was a bake sale. Bake sale, you put a 1. If she didn't attend the bake sale, you put a 0. So then at the end, it will total. So if she attended 8 events, then you'll see that she has 8 points here. Yeah? I think that one's pretty straightforward, but if you have any questions about that one or any suggestions, let me know. And then, of course, I already mentioned this one, but the referral contacts. So if you have members who have friends or family at different universities who might be interested in starting a chapter, you guys can collect it here. Vice president can definitely be a right hand to the president. And if there's anything that you think is missing from here, give me a holler. All good on the VP? Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Local outreach director. Woohoo! All right, of course, roles and responsibilities. Template contract. This one might be the most important one. Woohoo! Okay, so we were trying to figure out a better way to collect all of our service hours throughout the year. And so this is kind of what we came up with. So the very first column is the date. So you have 2 different charts, right? One for local dance service and one for chapter development hours. Can anybody explain the difference between local dance service hours and chapter development hours? Any brave souls out there?
Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay, so local dance hours is local outreach and volunteering, and then chapter development hours is like meetings.
Yeah, yep,
yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, just like that. So your volunteer hours, your local dance service hours are all of those amazing hours that you put in volunteering at different locations. And so all you have to do is say, I volunteered today, January 18th, 2018. I volunteered at Malambo Orphanage, or wherever you went. And 3 people came total, including myself, and we were there for 2 hours. Then bada bing, bada boom. So that's a total of 6 service hours between all of you guys. And maybe there were, 30 kids there. And we, what did we do? We played movement, games, and practiced pot. Oh man, I hope I spelled that right. Cool. Yeah, so pretty simple. Same thing for chapter development hours. So say you had a bake sale or a general body meeting, right? So maybe a couple of days from now, ooh, not 2020, you're gonna have a bake sale. And there's going to be 4 people, and everybody volunteered for 1 hour. And then, of course, beneficiaries is probably going to be 0 for all of this, since there won't usually be any beneficiaries. Yeah, and so your chapter development hours can be anything from general body meetings, executive board meetings, bake sales, what else? Do you have a flash
fundraising?
Sorry?
Fundraising?
Yeah, fundraising works as well. So it's really any event that, or any gathering of movement exchange peeps that goes into planning your volunteer events or your exchanges, because as we know, the hardest part is the planning, and then you actually get to have fun once the event is there. But we want to make sure that we're keeping track of all of those amazing hours that you guys spend preparing for all of these events. And so when to fill these out? Great question. So in all of your monthly reports, I'm going to be putting a question on there that says, yes, I have filled out my domestic dance service hours sheet with updated information. So make sure that every time you submit that form, that this sheet is up to date. So basically, it's taking place of that question on the chapter monthly or on the president monthly reports that says, like, how many local dance service hours did you complete? How many chapter development hours did you complete? So that's taking a place in place of that question. And so you'll just come in here and make sure that everything is up to date. Hopefully this will kind of help you guys keep track of everything that's going on. And also it will help us keep track of everything that's going on. So this is under the local outreach director, but if you feel like it's better if the president fills it out or if the vice president fills it out, whoever needs to fill it out, just make sure that it's getting filled out. Or if like you feel like maybe you have a couple of people kind of heading each location that you serve, maybe they go in and fill it out every time they come back from volunteering. Any questions on the domestic service hours and local dance service hours? I think it's pretty straightforward, but if at any point you're like, man, I really don't know what I need to put in here, just let me know and I'll help you out. Okay. Template for contacting local outreach or local organizations. So for some of you, if you are looking to start working with a new local organization, then there's a template here that you can use to send to those those organizations, and hopefully get some more local outreach going on. Where am I? Not there. Here we go. Then last on here, I have a template lesson plan. So this is a pretty basic one, but if there is anything that you want to add to this that you guys, maybe take a couple minutes out of your general body meeting and have people get in groups and create a template or create a lesson plan. Maybe you print these out and have that as an activity. Or if it's just helping your volunteers plan out their classes, then hopefully you guys can use this to kind of be like, all right, this is what we're doing, so that everybody's on the same page and can kind of see what's going on during the class. All good? Great. I took one dance pedagogy class, so if you have any suggestions on this, definitely let me know. Pretty please. Almost there. Okay, treasurer. So I think some of you guys, the treasurer and the fundraising director, are mixed or are one person. So you guys can keep going with that directive if you would like, or if you feel like it's too much, we kind of suggest that the treasurer is like more of the money handler. So they make sure that, maybe at the end of every fundraiser, they count the money, or they're in charge of making sure that everybody has their $500 deposit in, or maybe they're in charge of making sure that all the money gets deposited into the on-campus bank account, which always seems to be a very fun process. And then the fundraising director can kind of act as more of like an event coordinator, right? So they're the ones who are making sure that the spaces are booked and that there are volunteers set up and that you have all the supplies that you need. If you're thinking about it in those two ways, the treasurer and the fundraising director are definitely two different positions. So just something to keep in mind for the rest of the semester and maybe into next year. But looking at the treasurer, of course, we have roles and responsibilities, a contract template. Here's a template grant that we have had. More than likely, this is going to be way different depending on your university and whatever the program requirements are. But this has a lot of really great wording in here. So if you need to see what's going on in the world, maybe get some inspiration, you might want to take a look here and see what might be beneficial. Let's see what else. Oh, okay, and then bank account setup instructions. So this was developed by Move and Exchange at UCSD because they set up an off-campus bank account. Yes. So they recommend using a credit union. So if you aren't able to set up a bank account on campus and you think it's something that would be very beneficial, this is how they did it. And every credit union might be a little bit different, but this is just an example. And if you have any questions, I'm sure UCSD would be super happy to answer any of your questions. I don't think we can see Alice, but I think she would be in agreement.
Yeah, I'm here. You can ask us anything.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you guys, you and Emily, for creating this, because I know it's been a process for some people.
Yeah, but we found the credit union was really helpful because they're actually they're not a bank, they're like a nonprofit. So they work really well with student orgs. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so if you're struggling with maybe a bank, then you can try a credit union and see how that goes. Great, so that's it for treasurer, because sometimes they've got enough on their plate. But fundraising director, of course, roles and responsibilities, contract template. Here is a donation request for family and friends. So if you are trying to get some people to donate to your international dance exchange, maybe you want to use this as a letter to send out in the mail, or if you just want to send it as an email, you can completely butcher this, or you can copy and paste it word for word, but you can see kind of some talking points on how you might want to ask family and friends for a donation. And then, of course, if they do donate, then here is a thank you letter that you can send out to them afterwards. So make sure to add some anecdotes and include some photos or videos from your time in Panama. This could probably be sent out maybe after the exchange, or even right before the exchange when you're getting ready to go, to thank them for donating to your exchange. And then same thing goes for small businesses. So I think some of you guys have had some success working with small businesses in your area donating to Move and Exchange. So here's a letter that you can use to ask them for that donation. Again, you can completely alter this, or just use some of the wording, however you want to use it. It's fine with us. Ah, what happened? Okay. And then again, we have a thank you letter for this as well. A little bit more formal than what you might use for something a little bit more formal than what you might use for family and friends. Then these last two, a list of fundraising ideas. So this was compiled from the leadership conference this summer. So I know we had a lot of ideas being bounced around about fundraising ideas. And if you guys are in need of some fundraising ideas or fundraising inspiration, definitely take a look here. I have it divided by group fundraising and individual fundraisers. And I think that's it for fundraising director. Oh no, one more. So if you're wondering on how to set up your Empowered page, I always send this out when you ask to get an Empowered page set up. But if you lose it, or something happens, or if you want to be able to explain to any of your members on how to set up their Empowered page, then you'll see pictures and descriptions here of how to do that. All good with treasurer and fundraising director? Any questions? No? Cool, cool, cool. We're getting there. Okay, last one, marketing director. So this one has the most. Very first in each of yours, you'll find your chapter logos. So your full chapter logo is, of course, looks something like this. It's a big rectangle. And you have a JPEG, a PNG, and a Photoshop file. The Photoshop file you guys shouldn't need. It's mostly there for us. But the JPEG and PNG you might find useful in the future. And then you also have your social media profile pictures. So if you maybe want to update your profile picture to black or gray or white, then you can find all of those there. Or maybe you're creating a Twitter or an Instagram and need to find your square logo. And there it is. See. Okay, and then of course, roles and responsibilities and your contract template. And then the very first thing that we have, the very first few things we have are presentations or flyer templates. So the very first presentation is for a call-out meeting. So maybe the very first meeting that you're having for the semester with new members, reminding them about what Movement Exchange is, what we do, why we do it, where we do it, how we do it. All of those things are really important for knowing what, that's odd, but for knowing what Movement Exchange is all about. And of course, you can put your chapter's exchange dates and hopefully get some people hyped up for what Movement Exchange is all about. So that's a template. You have a call out meeting flyer. One important thing to note is that all of these are PowerPoint files, which means that the best way to edit them is actually to download them and work with them on PowerPoint specifically. If maybe you don't have PowerPoint or maybe you don't really feel like downloading it, in your own folder, you can also open it with a Google slide and edit it directly on there. The issue, I will warn you, is that sometimes, most of the time, the formatting gets a little wonky. So it's easiest just to download it and work with it directly on PowerPoint. And then the next few are just flyer templates. So make sure that you are updating all of this information so that when you hang up a flyer, it doesn't say at your university. But you can put in the date, time, location, and it's completely editable, and you can add whatever information you want. This is also an exchange flyer, so if you're planning your international dance exchange, you can put all of the information there. Chapter brochure template, so if you're planning a big event and want to print out brochures, or maybe you're working in a local community and you want to tell everybody what impact you're making, here's an example of how to do it. And when you open some of these files, especially like this one, it might give you directions in the little notes section on the bottom of the PowerPoint. Like when you open up PowerPoint, there's a little note section at the bottom. A lot of the time it will have kind of directions on how to print them so that they're printed the right way, so that they fold and all of that good stuff. Chapter Trifold Poster. So this is kind of the middle section for your trifold. So if you guys have any, what am I saying? Oh, an involvement fair coming up, then you can add this to the middle of it. And then here's kind of an example. Maybe you add more info about your own chapter to the sides. And then fonts. So if you would love to get a hold of that MoveEx font and stick it on some new flyers, all you have to do is download this file. You can either download this file, the .otf, or the .ttf. Both of those should give you access to the, this is the DHD font. Or if you need the Museo 700, that's also there for you. And then, of course, if you want to make your own flyers or what have you, the MoveEx Wave is there in both colors as well. And that's everything there. Are we good? Do you have any questions on all of that info? Hopefully those will serve you and your executive board members well. Pretty straightforward. Does anybody have any suggestions? Anything that we might have left out? No. Okay, well, if you think of anything, you know who to call. Ghostbusters. Just kidding, call me. Don't call me. You can't call me unless you want some international stuff, but email's good. Don't worry. Okay, well then. It's always funny like having you guys on mute because I like can't really hear you guys laugh, so I don't know if I'm actually being funny or not. I'm probably not. It's okay. Okay, so very last thing that I want to go over is this folder that's called Resources for all chapters. You guys should have access to this folder, all of you guys. And so it has the handbooks listed out, all of those handbooks that are on our website that maybe you want to look through to go over. They're all in there for you. Monthly reports. So if you're like, man, I know Adele sent out the link to the monthly report, but I really can't find it. Guess what? All of your monthly reports will be in here. So you have your first monthly report due on February 1st. It looks a little bit different like this than this because I have editing capabilities. But if all of your most recent monthly reports will be in here. And I believe all of you guys only have view access to all of these, those materials. Oh, you're not seeing our screen, my screen. Sorry. Nah, let me share my screen. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm pretty sure all of you guys only have view access to these. If anybody has edit access, no worries, Taylor. See you later. Bye. If anybody does have edit access, let me know, just because I don't want people editing these since they're shared with everybody. Okay, we're almost done. Monthly PowerPoint presentation. So as some of you, there's nothing in here right now, but as some of you guys know, we have monthly PowerPoints that you guys can use each month at your general body meetings. So they will always be in there. Social media images. So we always have those fun Facebook banners or Instagram posts. You'll see, 2017-09 is September, 2018-01, Facebook cover, and Instagram. So it'll be listed from there. Okay. Last one, photos. So these are some updated fun photos that you guys might want to use. Maybe you haven't been on an exchange before, or maybe you want some new photos to use on some of your promo materials. You can use any of the photos in here. They're labeled a little bit, but if you want a description on like who they are or what it was from, just let me know. And I think that is it for all of the resources. Woohoo! I really, really hope that you guys use them. I hope that they help a little bit or a lot with all of your delegation and whatever else you have going on. Hopefully there's some resources in there for you that maybe you didn't know about. A couple other little updates for you guys. If you aren't able to send anybody on a exchange this year, if you don't have an exchange planned, make sure that you try to get somebody to join our open exchanges this summer. So Panama's from July 15th through 22nd. And then our Brazil, we just updated the dates, but it's from August 8th through 17th. And in between those two, smack dab in the middle, is our leadership conference. So dates are most likely going to be August 2nd through 5th. And Alice, I know we got to chat. Hey. But mark your calendars. I believe August 2nd through 5th will probably be the dates at UC San Diego. And same thing as last year. It'll be a Thursday through Sunday. And one representative from each university will hopefully attend. There'll be some really, really great chats on all things MoveEx, all things dance diplomacy, all things, everything having to do with MoveEx. And hopefully you'll get to connect with some other chapter presidents and members in the exchange across the US. Very last thing, I know many of you have been asking me to update your chapter page information on the website. It has been a very long and painful process, but we are finally working on, and we're almost there, updating our website. So within the next probably week or two, I will be sending all of you a Google form that has some questions for you to fill out so we can update your chapter pages. And of course, if there's anything that we're missing on those forms, if there's any other information that you want to be put on your chapter page, then we'll also leave a space for that. That's what's going on. Hey, MoveEx. Does anybody have any questions or any thoughts on what's going on? No? Okay, cool. As always, if you have any questions or concerns or comments or need to vent, as we all do, just let me know. I'm always here. If you're like seriously struggling and you're like, Adele, yo, help a girl out, let's go, jump on a call. I'm always more than willing to talk with you guys about maybe anything that's going on with your chapter. Or of course, you know, don't forget about your chapter mentors. I know communication's a little bit limited with that, mostly them just responding to chapter or monthly reports, but you know, they're a great tool for maybe some outside perspective of all things MoveEx. Yeah. Woohoo. Alrighty. So I think that's all. That's all I had to say. Yeah.
Did you cut your hair since I left?
Yes.
It looks so cute. I like it.
Yeah. It was like a day after the exchange. I was like, yeah.
The way to go. Okay, that was my only question.
Thanks for your hair compliments. Cool. Alrighty, well, I will talk to you all soon. Good night to all of us East Coasters, and almost good night to all of our losers on the West Coast.
Thank you, Adele.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Adele.
you.
Bye.